I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're exploring the intersection of healing, creativity, and mindfulness with an amazing author. His name is Milt L Kins, and he has penned a powerful book. It is called Just a Little More, Creative Music with Mantra Meditation Poetry. This powerful and deeply personal book blends mantra meditation, therapeutic music, poetry, and even fishing, offering a unique multisensory approach to helping veterans cope with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Brookside Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Milt, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
I'm glad to be here.
This is a great process that you've outlined for people who are suffering, blending poetry, music, mantra meditation all together. How did you come up with this practice?
Well, in combat, the chaplain, I had a lot of personal problems, and the chaplain at that time in combat, he told me to write. Well, poetry was an outlet in combat, and they call it journaling. So, but the music writing thing has always been something I always wanted to do. So I wrote, but I took it to reality poetry because I wrote about what was happening as it was happening, put it into poetry, then song, and then performed it in a talent show in combat,
Wow.
which kind of shocked and awed everybody. But it also brought you right into the mind of the soldier, and this was something they've never had before. Yeah. So, with that being said, all I know is the battalion commander said this is political as all get out, and I can't make a statement. And we had no more talent shows. Wow. So after that, I've had 20 years to evolve that talent. And I thought that after I completed a book from combat and waited 15 years to get it started, which was the original Conflicts with Emotions and Reality, it was to give a legacy and respect the ones that I served with in my unit for what we did. And, I was going to leave it at that. And I thought it was over. Then I joined the Wounded Warrior Project. They got me into the therapy programs, trying to help me get a relationship back with my daughter, pushing me to progress. And then Warrior's Path, which comes out with the Zach Brown Band down in Fayetteville here in Georgia. I got to the Warrior's Path where I learned about mantra meditation and got a squad, which, by the way, was very touching. Now I've got people who know me. I got 8 more mini-me's that know me inside and out. And how close we are. But the point was, when I got introduced to mantra, it's another outlet, an emotional discipline to help you get control of the raging thoughts with emotions. Put a cap on it and learn to step back and meditate, breathe, and practice it to find inner peace with joy. And that's the progress of it. And when I got it, it kind of twisted. It had me all messed up because when you meditate, I'm used to writing poetry. And then I'm like, well, this ain't working. 6 months, all I know to do is write. So I started writing. Then I'd meditate. I'd write another poem. Then we was writing music all at the same time with the Veterans Music Project. And I got to where I'd meditate in our group for a 4-hour meditation. I could take keywords from each person in there, put it into a poem, and hand it back to them before the 4-hour session was over. And I'm like, what is this? And the teacher says it's perfectly normal. I'm like, no, this is reality. This is something that ain't normal. But I don't understand it either.
Yeah.
So I merged them. Now thoughts, mantra, and now the mantra, I guess I've got the guru shaking because They ain't never had nothing like this happen.
Hmm.
There's never been mantra, meditation, reality poetry.
Yeah.
So now you got this. I've got 68 pages of that stuff. And one or two of it turned into a song that we performed with a Veterans Music Project, Learning to Love Again. Beautiful song.
Yeah.
So then the emotional barriers were, dark. It took me back almost about combat. And then I started to climb out and progress forward. As I expanded, I found peace. I learned to accept, what's happened, where I've been, what I've done, what I've been through, and just start on the healing process of becoming a better person and getting back to the one word that every vet struggles for, being normal.
Exactly.
And at peace with their inner self. So you don't have the raging emotions with thoughts.
Music is helpful also, right?
Yes. Through this, there are several 501c, and I think I kind of took the 501c on a run. Because see, when I write about what I do as I do, almost like Hank Williams Sr. But the way I do it is like I'll take political events, COVID, January 6th riots. Can you see with 2020, life to be taken? It is what it is after the Biden administration. Basically speaking, from my perspective, taking reality situations that we're facing every day and heading straight into, putting it into a poetry format. And then if you can't get the message, put it in song.
Yeah.
In that is a message, and that is an understanding. And not everybody agrees with what you believe, but the point is peace, value of life, and respect. And God overall. Like with In His Grace, which is a multi-purpose spiritual in this book, never been produced, but the group that wrote it presented me with three problems. One, every chaplain and preacher tells me, unite and come to God. Every sermon I've ever been in, there's so many different genres of music styles of gospel, you can't put them all in one sermon. And at the same time, in the Veterans Music Project, we have female veterans who are trying to be their own entity. And they're very big on this. And it's a struggle that gets presented as a problem. And I deal with this emotionally. So how do you fix a problem? Like a politician, you got a problem presented. So you create a multi-purpose spiritual that when your video is made, unite and come to God. How you do that is you take all spiritual hymn titles of different genres, write it into a verse and a chorus, make it a multi-purpose that covers all genres, and it makes them unite. Then give it to a female veteran who is, because it's like the right to vote. Nobody's ever done this before. So you make it amazing. You put a brand new tag, you start a whole new road with a brand new name, and you let them shine.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's
Problem solved.
a great recipe, like you said, to be
Right.
normal
And
again, which is what people want to be, is normal after suffering like many people have, many soldiers have. Talk to us a little bit about another project you're working on, which is getting puppies to people who have served our nation.
well, that's kind of humorous because see, back when, and I deal with problems. I'm a realist, and maybe that's just the MP retired law enforcement. I find problems, I try to solve them. That's what a cop does. If it's a fraud, I'm trying to catch fraud. I'm trying, just basically one of my biggest problems I got presented when I first got realized that I'm a disabled, medically retired combat vet. They're saying you got to have, you can have a service dog. So I start looking for service dogs. Well, I noticed that there's people who can get them, but then there's a waiting line. Now there's a waiting list that's an arm long, 5 years to be exact.
Wow.
I'm sitting here
That's crazy. You need the dog now, not
so
5 years from now, right?
So 501c with a waiting list And then, and I'm not making fun of the program they got now. Now they got one that are taking rescues and they're doing good deeds with them. And then I got to thinking, well, let's spin this a little bit. Let's put some value, because the one biggest problem I noticed when I was in combat is that, like 11 Bravo infantry, they serve 3 years, they get busted up, they get out. They don't want nothing to do with the military. They don't even want the disability paperwork.
Right.
Just leave me alone. But there's no benefit for that.
Right.
So put some value. Now, find a soldier who, let's say their dog died, and they're in debt. You know they love that dog. That's the kind of the case I want. That way, when I have my dog and I make a litter, I've got 6 501Cs lined up, ready to get these puppies as soon as I deliver them. And as soon as they pop out, they all got names. Everybody's making a fuss to pick them up. And then they're purebred. And I mean, you're giving something with some style. And I mean, he understands you just like you understand him. There ain't a vet that's been to combat in the box or Afghanistan that don't have breathing problems. This dog has that problem. And they're all muscle bound and they're misunderstood and there's no written standard. So this dog holds all that criteria. So as they're writing the book for us and have to put it together, they're doing the same with this dog.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like a best friend.
It does. Absolutely a best friend. And
the one thing about all of it is not everybody, once they've been in the military 20 plus years, they don't want to go out and run.
Yeah.
I prefer to sit. And if I decide I want to be fat and lazy and lay on the couch, that's what I'm going to do. But I like a dog that thinks like me.
Exactly. That's awesome. Well, you're doing great work there with your book and helping vets, with your puppy program that's helping vets. For people who are interested, what's the name of the puppy program?
I call it Bullies for Battle Buddies. Now, it ain't really had but one letter. And how you'll find it, I've got a website, it's dedicated. It's called Camp Hell of the Hill Bullies.
Okay.
For Battle Buddies. And basically, well, I got General LG and his little old lady, Karma, bloodline, generally Karma, and they come with pedigrees. And they've had one litter, which have all been successfully given.
Awesome.
And named. And they're very happy people with their dogs. But I can have 4 litters, and she's got 3 more to go before she gets retired.
Amazing.
And, well, like I said, I'm not breeding if there's no need.
Yeah, well, there's a need, and you're doing a great job.
Well, I hope so,
this
because
gets the word out there.
Puppies are a lot of work.
Yeah, they are.
But the creation process is so amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing. The name of the book we've been talking about today is Just a Little More: Creative Music with Mantra Meditation Poetry. It is a moving and innovative look at the power of expression and healing through sound, silence, and story. Milt, thank you so much for your great work and your time today for this interview. Appreciate your time, your wit, your wisdom, and your insight. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.